Now, in addition to just regular staging, we also have the ability to turn on what are called page versions. Now, page versions allow us to have sort of a Git-like process for creating branches that can be distinguished from the main variation or the main set. So if you're familiar with Git terminology, we can have a master branch, if you will, that's going to be our main variation. And any versions or variations off of that are going to be considered different branches. Now we can use this in two different ways. We can set it up so that we have parallel branches for different things, and then we can have things like content updates where we test them, make sure everything looks good, and then we can go ahead and merge them on into the master branch, okay? So there are two different kinds of variations that we can work with. We can work with individual page variations or site page variations. Now, page variations allow us to just provide a variation on a single individual page, whereas the site pages variation is going to be for the entire page set, okay? So what this does is it allows us to have a bit more control over how we're actually managing our different pages, okay? So like I said, if we wanted to have a content update, we can create, let's say, a site pages variation. Perhaps we have a promotional that we want to go ahead and get set up, get started, but we want to make sure it's reviewed and tested before it actually goes out. We can create a new page variation, or a new branch, if you will, and we can set up our promotional content, make sure it's reviewed, and then take it from there, okay? Once everything is approved, we can, again, either keep it parallel, or we can merge it back into the main variation, all right? So that is completely up to you. An example of a parallel site page variation that we might want to keep parallel might be something like if a retailer is using Liferay and they have a set of Christmas promotionals or different things like that. Perhaps they might want a new theme, they might want some new content, and of course, actual promotional content as well. And perhaps there's an entire team dedicated to that part of the year, okay? We could create a variation on the pages and let them continue to do those things, and then we can actually publish it and then republish the original version once we hit, let's say, the end of January or whenever those sort of promotionals would stop going out, okay? So those are gonna be the benefits of the page variations. It also gives us a couple of other abilities as well. It gives us the ability to set up workflow on our pages, so we can have workflow and staging working together. And it also gives us the ability to roll back changes if needed. So if something was published and it turns out it shouldn't have been published at that point, we can just simply roll it back and publish the previous version, okay? So let's take a look at a quick example for the Livingston Hotels and Resorts.